part of the administration of this program involves not only Connecticut Housing Finance Agency, but NeighborWorks and their affiliated counseling agencies across the country. And we have all of our representatives of the NeighborWorks counseling agencies here in Connecticut in this room. And I wanted to introduce our host today, who was kind enough to open up his facility for this event, Jim Paley, who's had a tremendous record of counseling, economic development, home ownership development. And without Jim and without the Dara and Tim at the Connecticut Housing Finance Agency, this program just wouldn't be able to get off the ground. They will be working together to intake and counsel folks who need the assistance, and then Connecticut Housing Finance Agency will be actually administering the distribution of assistance directly to banks to make people whole, to keep people in their homes. So it's going to be a tremendous alliance between HUD and our agencies at the state and local level, and we'll continue working with Congress to try to get additional resources to keep these programs moving forward. But without further ado, our host, Jim Paley. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard, and thanks to all of you for coming. It's really nice to have all of you here at this very important time. Thanks, Rosa, for your presence, your leadership, and for mentioning your mother's age, which makes me feel really old since I remember when we worked together when she was on the board of Alderman. This really is a partnership effort. You know, when we started hearing about subprime loans and recognizing the consequences of them, I don't think any of us really anticipated how complex this whole situation was going to be. We are dealing with something that is, in a sense, almost like, I use sometimes these strange analogies, but this time the one that comes to my mind is a hurricane. And a hurricane feeds on those warm waters and just keeps gaining strength and gaining strength. And our whole economy is really suffering as a result of many different factors, and these loans, which are now in default and families facing foreclosure, have been victim by a situation. And the one word that comes to my mind that Rosa used in regard to the foreclosures, but also in the whole way in which these mortgages were written, and that way is greed. That word that comes to my mind is greed. The fact that mortgages were written that people could never afford, that mortgages were written based on housing prices continuing to go up, the fact that mortgage brokers told homeowners who were buying these 228s, these loans that we're going to adjust, oh, don't worry about the fact that it's an adjustable rate. You can always refinance your loan and get into a fixed rate. People who were led to believe certain things would happen, and then, of course, when things started crashing down, everything started coming along with it. So we end up with a very complex situation. So we can do one of two things. I mean, we can go out, as some people are doing, and being just critical of everything, and critical of bailouts, and critical of this, critical of that, and throw out all the incumbents. I mean, I think you know the kinds of people I'm referring to. Or you can have people who come up with strategies, concrete plans to deal with problems. And that is what is so important, and that is why the partnership with people from HUD, who are not only providing us with housing counseling funds, but are also initiating programs like this, and people like Rosa and many of her colleagues in Congress who are funding NeighborWorks America and making it possible for organizations like ours to continue and to survive. CHFA for all of the incredible work that you do, making, not to forget the fact that you're making new, historically low interest rate mortgages to new home buyers who are still coming to our classes and looking to purchase homes. I mean, that is also important, that we not lose sight of the new home buyers and not demoralize people by having them think, well, gee, look, what's the point? You know, look at all these people who are in trouble. This can be changed, but it takes the hard work of all of us together to make sure that it happens. I want to thank Bridget Russell, our Managing Director of our Home Ownership Center, and the entire Home Ownership Center staff. They deal with the complex issues on a day-to-day basis. Every situation is different. Every person has a different story to tell. Every person has a different set of problems that he or she faces. And these are challenging times. It's challenging times for the homeownership counselors who have to listen to these stories and sometimes feel powerless, that there's nothing that they can do to change. You know, there are situations where loans were written, families were attacked, there's been a death of a spouse, a separation, a divorce, there's no longer the money to pay a mortgage. I mean, there are oftentimes legitimate situations. But now, instead of people just being able to sell a house that they can't afford, they lose it through a foreclosure. All of the equity that went in, all of the sweat and blood and tears that went into a down payment are gone when a house is lost in foreclosure. Neighborhoods, strength of neighborhoods, working together with the Livable City Initiative, the City of New Haven, Kelly and Eric, and Mayor DeStefano, and having a commitment to the neighborhoods which have faltered. We are targeting a neighborhood now in New Hallville, along Winchester Avenue, that has continued to decline over the 30-plus years that I've been working in New Haven. It is a challenge. Everybody recognizes it's one of the most difficult sections of New Haven. We're taking it on. We're taking great risks. We're acquiring properties for home ownership. We're rehabilitating them beautifully. We're keeping them affordable. But we need to be able to reestablish confidence in the neighborhood so that people will want to buy those houses and be able to call them home, and reestablishing neighborhoods. So that's what it's all about, to have a partnership, working together with all the people who are here assembled in this room. And one final point that I want to make that is really headed into this new initiative, and that is that we have recognized for a number of years the importance of having financial assistance available to people who are looking to modify their loans and save their homes. We've been blessed in that we have the money from certain generous supporters, some public, some private, that have given us modest resources to help people with what we call rescue funds. Those funds have succeeded just in a very limited scope in making it possible for 50 homeowners to save their homes because we've been able to infuse just a little bit of cash. This new initiative has the opportunity and the potential for really helping a lot of people in the state to be able to save their homes and to be able to help stabilize neighborhoods, bring back values, and be able to work with the people who really have, in many cases, through no fault of their own, fallen into this perilous situation. So I want to thank all of you for coming. We're going to work together. We're going to make this work. This initiative is fantastic, and we're really looking forward to being an active partner in its implementation. And I did want to also let people know, and if we have just a couple of minutes, we do have one of the people who's benefited from our program and our counseling, Lourdes Castillo. Would you like to come up and just say a couple of words?
Actually, she's done it.
Thank you.
Take your time.
You can have it.
This is the real. Relax.
Thank you, everybody. And I'm so nervous, but I have to say something to what changed my life right now with this office, with all the people who works in this office. It changed my life and my husband's life because I'm being big, the people outside makes one big fraud for us and lost my house. And after that, come to this office. The first time when come, Mrs. Bridget said, I'm trying to help you and do something for you. But that day, start to work with us and fixed all my problem with the Attorney General together and everybody, and you person too, and helping for everything. And what I have to say about this changed my life and my husband's lives, and because it's very hard to lose your house, and when you don't try to lose the house, it's hard, and after that, right now, I tell you, it's different. It's different, and I hope everybody try to fix the problem, because many people is same like my situation, and it's very hard when it has kids and everybody. But when I'm there with people outside and say go to neighborhood, because it's the best, and there are people try to help to everybody. There's people not see persons and help everybody, and I'm so nervous and.
This is really what it's all about. It's helping people, and that's what our mission is. And are there? You want to have questions for? How do you want to?
Well, the other states, the other 18 states received hardest hit funds back in August, and they qualified because either the value of the homes depreciated by over 20% or they had exceedingly high unemployment. So we targeted those states first, and this emergency homeowner loan program targets the rest of the country.
Well, it's a good thing I asked, because I thought they didn't need the help at all.
Oh no, they needed the help. They needed the help even more than,
Nationwide.
yes.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Agencies such as NHS to deal with the specific folks, you know, who needed the assistance. NHS would do the intake and the evaluation, and then work together to make sure that CHAFA has the funds go to the right bank and whatnot.
And that's in states that have similar authority and law to do similar programs in their states, which Connecticut, as was mentioned, under the initiative in 2008 was implemented here in the state, and so they can jump right on board. We can just hit the ground running and really make a difference here in Connecticut.
What was interesting, and I was listening to Bridget and Kim talking, and their excitement about this is that they know people already. I mean, they have them in there, and I'm sure that's true of the others, but they can identify folks already that would, you know, potentially be eligible for this. This is not going to, it's a shovel ready. Okay.
It's more than shovel ready. And I should also add, because of that, I mean, we do have to get the money out. We do have to get the program implemented. Applications will start being accepted before the end of the year.
Well, thank you all very much for
Thank
coming.
you very much.